I spoke with Justin Fortunato, the producing artistic director at Lincoln Park, and Grace Baker, who plays Catherine in Newsies, to find out what Lincoln Park is doing to ensure everyone on stage and in the audience is safe. Let's take a look. Could you explain why you chose Newsies as the show to open this year's season?
Sure. So we shut down on March 13th, 2020. And since that time, there have been a lot of different iterations about what the plan was going to be when we were fortunate enough to be back with live audiences. Over the past 18 months, we did virtual shows, we did radio plays, and during that entire time, we were putting together the ideas for what would it feel like, what would it look like to return to the audiences and return to live actors on stage. And we wanted to find a show that sent the message that we felt was most important. And it's also a show that's newer, based off the movie in the early 90s, but it's really written in the vein of Golden Age musicals, where you have a wonderful love story, you have a puckish dreamer as a lead, and you have these spectacular dance numbers. So Disney's Newsies checked every box for us to welcome audiences back into our theater.
Grace, could you tell us about the precautions you were taking in order to have this live opportunity?
Of course. Our COVID protocols include every member of the cast gets tested at least once a week, and the crew. And we all are masked at all times except for dress rehearsals and actual runs of the show. And we have rapid tests available at all times for whenever somebody needs it. It's very safe.
Yeah, and I can't speak highly enough of Grace and the rest of the actors in the company. Nobody's better equipped to deal with what we're dealing with than actors, because the job of an actor in a show is always twofold. Tell the story as best you can and protect yourself and keep yourself healthy and the people you work with healthy. So already as actors, they understand that when you have set pieces above your head that weigh 2,500 pounds, safety is always of the utmost importance. So I can't speak highly enough of the team for just taking on, because it wasn't easy. I mean, rehearsing in masks, performing in masks for part of Tech Week, it's difficult. And they just rose to the occasion and then some.
I see that you guys took a lot of time to prepare yourselves for coming back. So if anyone tests positive in the cast or crew, what is the protocol?
Knock on wood before you ask that question, just to make sure. We follow the CDC guidance, and there's not one flat protocol because, of course, quarantining is different for vaccinated versus unvaccinated, whether or not the exposure happened when you were in a room that wasn't ventilated without masks versus masks. So wearing masks for the whole 5 weeks of rehearsals really give us the best opportunity to be able to not have to shut down, as well as giving us the best opportunity that if someone comes into contact, the entire production doesn't have to shut down per CDC guidelines.
Besides the precautions that you have to take because of COVID-19, what is the difference between rehearsing and performing now compared to how it used to be?
Sure. You'd probably be better to answer that because you're acting in it. I'm just sitting there watching you.
The crew has done a really good job at replicating exactly how it was before. It's very similar to the way that rehearsals would have run without COVID. It's just masks and then the testing and the taking temps and stuff, but really they've just done such a good job to recreate the experience that we've all been craving for 18 months, I guess. Yeah.
Due to COVID-19, did you have to reduce the cast and crew for the performance?
One of the exciting things, and what I think makes Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center special, is the amount of people, particularly students of the charter school, that we're able to include in our productions. So when we knew that we wanted to come back to live theater, one of the options we looked at was smaller shows, less people. I looked at shows that had, maybe 5 to 10 people in them. And it didn't sit right because part of our mission is to get as many students as we possibly can into these shows. So we made a commitment pretty early on that we were still going to do 50-person musicals with a 20-person crew and a 12-person orchestra. So we already, in our first 4 shows, which I think are all officially cast to the public, so I'm not giving anything away, There's hundreds of different students involved in all 4 subscription series that we've cast to date, as well as, of course, all of the other activities we do here, whether it's ensemble immersion or, classwork performance-based things like the orchestral and choir concerts that we do in the fall and spring.
Can you tell me about the upcoming shows
Sure.
left in the series?
Yeah, the title for our season is Bigger, Better, Bolder. We're back. I like the alliteration. The next show we're doing is a newer show that's never been produced by Lincoln Park. It's called Disney's Descendants, and it's based off of the Disney Channel original movies. And what I was really taken with by it is it gives a perspective on these dastardly villains that we've all come to love to hate. And, there's people that love them, and they have family, and they have kids. And the really interesting thing about the show is we get to see what happens to people that love people who make bad decisions. And of course, that's encapsulated with all the Disney charm of, great tunes that some restyled in a way that you haven't heard before. It deals with high school kids, young kids, which, again, the programming we do here, similar to Newsies, we look for shows where the students of the charter school can be playing who they are, which are, young people dealing with problems whenever we can. So yeah, Disney's Descendants opens second week in November in our main stage theater. Really excited about that one.
Thank you to Justin Fortunato and Grace Baker for your time with us. Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center subscription series continues with Disney's Descendants, opening on November 12th. If you're interested in ordering tickets for any or all Lincoln Park performances for this series, please go to lincolnparkarts.org.